Welcome back to Satisfactory and my new and refurbished base. So I've done quite a bit of work off camera, as I am sure you can all see, although it doesn't really look that different, I suppose. The hub has been moved here together with the MAM and my workshop. I have my little factory cart that I purchased. And apparently I've forgotten to replace this fence. So in this episode I don't plan on doing any actual building, but I plan on showing off quite a bit of the various things that I have done with the base. Now, the first and foremost thing that is relevant is that I have built an entire subfloor underneath this floor for belts and various things that go into our new storage area in the base. But let's start outside of the base. Have a quick drive. This place has not changed. I intend to make at least no obelisks there, I think. I probably will take the gunpowder in and do it on the main factory floor, to be honest. So first of all, let's have a quick drive out to the mines. One of the things that I've done is that I went into the Awesome Shop and bought some turbo motors so that I could build Mark III mines. And this is the result of that, what you're seeing above here, this one belt. Because the other thing that I also did was I didn't have room for the smelting in the base, so well, here we are. So this is a small smelting outpost where I have steel smelting. I'm overproducing coal and iron ingots. I can produce more steel here if I want to. But I have four Mark III miners out here. One of them, or two of them, are producing iron ore, and two of them are producing coal, and all of them are overclocked to 150%. The other ones are behind here. So those two are producing coal, and these two are producing iron ore. That is then funneled up to through this funky little tower that I built. I just felt like doing something different, so the coal is going on that belt down to the foundries, and the iron ore is going on this belt to the smelters, which are turned around. That is, I have the output in the middle, in this row, and the inputs on the back side, as opposed to what I'm usually doing. So I believe I have 24 I have of the smelters making their ingots, and I have 12 foundries. So I'm producing 720 iron ingots and 720 coal, but I'm just using 480 of the ingots and coal to produce one belt of 720 solid steel ingots. So I could do another belt with a couple of foundries, but I don't need the steel right now, so that's fine. That place, that little mountain there, or rock, is very dangerous. All of those are uranium, just so you're aware. Now let us go to where I have the iron smelting, because I kind of changed that as well and moved it outside of the base to yes, tidy up things, and I needed more iron, so that's not to say I'm using all of it, but I do have two full lines of smelters using the same principle of input on the outside and output in the middle. So I'm producing 720 times 2 iron ingots here. Not all of them are working, obviously, because base is standing still at some points. Some of the nodes that was in use have been torn down, the miners on, and I'm combining some nodes together. Like here I have one normal node with a Mark III miner that produces 240 ore. And then we have a pure node here, which I believe I have overclocked. No, I haven't. 480 plus 240 is 720. So I'm not using the full capacity of the Mark V belt, which is 780, but rather I'm working in 720s. There is a pure node over there as well, and that one I'm fairly certain that I overclocked, because it is delivering enough for one belt, so probably overclocked to 200%. Let's see here. Now 450% actually makes 720 on a pure node. The speed this thing produces it is kind of scary. I have a radar up at the mountain top there, as you can see. Not that I needed it, but why not? The area here is not really completed. There are various quirks on the map that are fairly interesting, I should say. So these belts go into the base together with a belt of, I think it is copper ore. And I've done that also fairly involuted. The spaghetti / tentacle area down here has been cleaned up rather substantially. And then again, we have belts going in crisscrossing fashions here, so there is still some of the spaghetti left. This is a Mark III miner producing copper ore. And the belts are going on elevators. Some of them are going through the column. I've done this fairly involuted, as I mentioned. And I'm quite happy with the results as well. So we have... Here we have one belt of steel ingots and one belt of coal. The belt of coal is going to these 12 foundries, and there's also a belt of iron ore coming down there to these smelters, which then produces 480 iron ingots, and I believe that there is 480 on this belt of coal as well. So we have two full belts of 720 steel ingots going up through there. And all of the belts that went through the cave in here, I have removed those as well. So the cave is now nice and clean and tidy and can be walked inside again. Over here I have many various belts of various speeds and items. So we have iron going up there and iron going up here. And I'll explain more about those when we get back up to the factory floor. This is the copper smelting array. I think... Yeah, this is one full array producing one belt of 780, which is sufficient. The miners that were placed down here, they are gone. I didn't need them, and I've built this little bridge here. Tidied up some of the belts here. I think that might be petroleum coke. Sure. Ah no, that's the compacted coal going out to the base. Then I did some major tidying up here because we have lots of belts coming here now. Some of them going one way, some of them going the other way. I'm also making use of the new ability to place the power poles on foundations and not just walls. So I have the wall power poles here, which I kind of like this style. It's very neat and tidy. It hides the power poles away and it doesn't interfere with the belts. On this conveyor stack here, we have the compacted or the coal going to the coal power plant. We have rubber coming in. We have plastic coming in. We have compacted coal going out. We have more rubber coming in, and we have more plastic coming in. So there's a total of 1,200 plastic and 1,200 rubber going in. I don't remember exactly how much compacted coal we're using out there, but I assume that it's a full belt. And this is a Mark V belt, so no, it's 600 as well. That as well. The coal, that should be sufficient for all of the coal generators, so I'm using a splitter to split off to both of the generator lines here. I probably could just tear down this entire array because, I mean, it's producing a minuscule amount of the power capacity. We have 22 gigawatts of power, and we're using 3 gigawatts, so there's a fairly big gap here. But it's nice to have here, but I might tear it down at some point and replace it, particularly when we get to the nuclear stuff. What is in this chest? Ah, right, I can take this with me because this chest is just scrap. I haven't done anything else out at the refinery, so we don't need to go there. One of the things that I want to do is to change the recipe for concrete into wet concrete. But for now I'm just using the old-fashioned regular basic recipe for that. In the same places that I used to produce it before. But I'm now gathering all of the concrete belts into one belt with a merger over around here. And then I'm sending it up. And as you can see, there are 2 floors above us. There are belts going on the floor, and we'll go there as well. So there is a lot of tidying up that has happened. The belt of iron that came from the iron node over there, I removed that because we didn't need that node either. So there's plenty of changes, plenty of tidying up, and in the end result, I will say that I am quite happy with how the base has turned out. Using a wall up there, as you can see, all the containers are gone, and yeah, I don't know why this is here. I don't think this is necessary. Let's remove that. Same with that. Oh yeah, right. That's the old conveyor pole that I used for the old copper. Okay, let's go upstairs and I'll walk you guys through the factory floor. I haven't connected up the hypertube yet. So there's a parking lot for the truck. Not going to use that truck very often. It's a bit clumsy to move around in. Anyways, here the copper is coming up. That is, again, 720. Each of these belts are 720 unless I specify anything else. So we get to the first part of the copper smelting, where I'm using a regular splitter to split off into 3. 2 of the belts, I believe they are Mark IV. Yep, they are Mark IV. But they are not using full capacity. I'm on the... See here. Yeah, they are 300 copper each on those belts, and I have 20... Actually, I have 40. There are 40 constructors here making wire. The autosave is incoming. And I'm using the same system here with input on the outside, as you can see, and output on the inside. So the first 20 are producing 600 wire, and that belt is just going out underneath. The second belt, or the second 20, are also producing 600, and I have that at a very different height for reasons that will become apparent. So for this wire, 600 of them are going this way. We'll get back to that. These 6 constructors are making copper sheets, and that's what the third belt in that splitter was for. which is why I split it into 3. And these are just one way. I didn't see a need to make them face one another because this just looks tidier. Don't need that many copper sheets as of now, but I will need more of them when we get to the more advanced recipes that I'm going to be making in the upcoming episodes. So then that wire is going over here and into the refineries that are making the coated cable, and I've moved those as well. They used to be here. And there is one thing that I have done that some of you might have noticed. A couple of you know about it, but this floor is now 4 meters taller. So I tore down the entire factory, removed the entire floor, and moved it up 1. That is, let's see here, 1 foundation, like this. So the floor underneath is still at the same height as it used to be, but then I moved the entire factory 1 foundation up, which gives me all kinds of possibilities down here, but we will get back to that level in a while. The wire is being split off here, so a lot of that wire is being used in that direction. Mainly for the cable, we are using 60 of the wire here, so not much at all. Not sure why I'm using a Mark II belt. No, it's not 60. It's 37 by 75, 150. It's 150 wire. These numbers are not correlating to what I have in my spreadsheet. 15, 30, 60 heavy oil residue. Is this correct? Have they rebalanced this recipe? I'm making 270 cable here, not 216. No idea why. They may have rebalanced it, or I might have done it completely wrong from the beginning. I don't know. Anyways, I do know that I have calculated, because this is a Mark III belt, so I have calculated with that, even though the spreadsheet had the wrong numbers. This is a smart splitter. You can see that from the interesting layout underneath. A regular splitter looks like that. The smart splitter has this crisscross, and also the lights on the corners of the smart splitter. I like those. That smart splitter is very simple. What it does is basically sending everything off to the center output, but if there is any overflow, it then sends it off to the right output. And that is sent down there, together with the copper sheets and the cable. I haven't done any smart splitting here, but I probably will do the splitting underneath. I might have set it up, I don't remember. But the point is that the mall area, which I used to have in a kind of a fashion in the previous series, where I had everything coming off of the mall to go into the production. Instead, I'm using the overflow function of the smart splitters so that the mall is actually the overflow. So I'm sending products from the production line to the next production line, but then I'm just splitting off with the smart splitters to fill up the necessary containers for my production needs. So this belt goes here. There is another one on top of it, but that goes to a different location. And here we're producing stators on one side and rotors on the other side. And we're using the steel rotor alternate recipe still. And I've chosen to have a space in between so that we have 4 and 4. So there are 8 machines producing stators and 8 machines producing steel rotors. And those are just happily plodding along that way. The other belt of wire goes here to these machines over there. We'll get back to them. This is the iron plate construction array. I'm using full iron belt to make iron plates, so that's 24 constructors making 480 iron plates out of 720 ingots. And again, there's a smart splitter splitting off the overflow of the iron plates down here, while the rest of them, together with a wire on the belt above, follows this path here, and then splits off here into this array, where I have 12 machines making reinforced iron plates using the alternate stitched iron plate recipe, which is wire instead of screws. So again, input on the inside, output on the outside. That is how I've done everything now. It's just a lot simpler to do it that way. These reinforced iron plates are going this way, and then we go to smart splitter again. The overflow is going that way and down underneath over there. The other is going to these machines here, which are producing bolted frames. We have, this is one again, an alternate recipe for modular frames. We have 4 assemblers making the modular frames for a grand total of 20 of the modular frames. Don't really need that many of them. The modular frames are then being sent here and then down. I will split them off because I believe we need them for the heavy modular frames. And here is one of those locations where things are happening. These machines here are producing motors, and instead of having 2 of them, I now have 4 of them, so I'm producing 20 motors as well, using the entirety of the 40 rotors and 40 stators that I am producing in the rotor/stator array. And then using smart splitters again to split off excess. Or am I? No, I haven't even bothered using smart splitters. I'm just using the manifold here. So, no, I am using smart splitters. This one, at the end. So, right output, any, center output, overflow, and it says the same on that one up there. And then motors, rotors, stators, and modular frames are going down here, while the reinforced iron plates are going down here. This is a temporary container that I used because I needed so much concrete, so I'm trying to empty this of concrete before I take anything from the actual mall. Here we have the encased industrial pipe recipe going on, where we're producing encased industrial beams. But the recipe calls for steel pipe instead of steel beams. So we have the concrete here, again using a smart splitter to toss off the overflow down there. And then we have the steel production lines. They come up here. Here we're also using a smart splitter to take down. I haven't built the fences here, apparently. I guess we can build something in this episode, even though it is something as boring as fences. A grand total of 5 so far. So one of the belts go to the encased steel beams recipe, and the other belt goes all the way down there to the rotor assembly. We have a total of, let's see here, 26 constructors making steel pipes. That takes a full belt of steel ingots, 720, and producing 520 steel pipes here. We're not using more than 200 of it, it would appear. I somehow have a problem believing that is correct, but apparently it is correct, because we're just using them in the steel rotor. No, it is not correct. I haven't added the number there. So we're using 340 of the 520 that we're producing. Whoa, clicked the wrong button there. Okay, next in line is, again, I have this space which gives me the ability to easily pass through. These 4 machines are making steel beams. The only thing we're using steel beams for are Mark III belts. Oh, railroads, perhaps. Yeah, railways and the belts. That's all. And we have 5 machines over here making iron rods, again using the alternate recipe, which is the steel rod recipe. And we're not using any of those. So the second belt of steel, we're just using 300 out of the 720 steel ingots. So I have a couple of steel ingots to spare from that second line there, which I suspect will go to more steel pipes, because we need a lot of those pipes, that's for sure. Then we have the railroad stations. I have done some changes up here as well. The first two stations are now PAX stations. The very first one is also for a building train, when and if I want to have that. Then we have the quick wire coming in at this station, and we have the Alclad aluminium sheets coming in at this station. The quick wire is being funneled down, and that's where we're going next. Bounce, bounce, bounce. So here is the new mall area. We have tier 1 products there, tier 2 products in this row, and tier 3 and 4 products in that row. The tier 3 and 4 is not populated at all. Tier 2 and tier 1, I'm done with those, and instead of using the signs, I'm using this method to show what's in the containers. So we have, I've reorganized the order of these based on the most likely necessary thing from the first container to the last container, whereas the last one is the one I probably am least likely to take. We have iron plates, we have iron rods, we have concrete, we have cable, we have a wire, we have quick wire, we have copper sheets, and we have screws on this side. So there are 8 tier 1 products. In the tier 2 product line, we have the steel beams, we have the encased industrial beams. Note how I've put the belt construction materials at the first containers. Then we have steel pipes, we have reinforced iron plates, we have modular frames, we have motors, we have rotors, we have stators, we have plastic, and we have rubber. The plastic and rubber probably could have come earlier in the chain, but I vaguely remember that the only thing I need plastic for is the manufacturers. And those definitely need plastic. And I don't think there's... No, the packager does require both of them, but I have local production of those out at the refinery, and I am not using any fluid buffers, so those are not very important for me. Yeah, I think that's about it. And here we have the tier 3 products, which will be coming in later. Now, you can see a little bit of what's going on down there from here, but this is the sub-factory floor with all of the belts coming in with the products. And then we go down even 2 more for the purposes of the mall, because this is so far out of the factory that it is not a big problem for me to have things out here. So this place is kind of like the underworks of the factory, where we have all of the belts crisscrossing. It's tall enough to have elevators or lifts taking the products above, which is very, very handy. I don't have room for hypertubes down here, but that's fine, to be honest. So we have lots and lots of products moving around down here. Some of those products will go over there, and I have done some preparations for the main or the manufacturer factory floor, which is going to be up there as I intended from the beginning. So here I'm using a smart splitter to split off rubber, and I'm also using a smart splitter to split off plastic up there. And then I have 2 additional belts that are just going straight in, because I don't need 2 overflows. 1 is sufficient. I haven't completed the foundations down here yet, so we can still look down. But this is where everything is going to be split off for products that are coming into the factory. Products that are already being made up there, I will just send up, I believe, and not use this subfloor, because the subfloor is meant primarily as the mall floor. So I have no plans of having other things than, for instance, the plastic and the rubber, which will be necessary up there to go on this specific floor. The elevators, I don't know why I keep calling that. The lifts are going to complicate matters in that regards. So yeah, this will probably be removed as well. I've been very conscious about having that driveway here clear, so there is nothing in this driveway, so that it is easy to drive through the factory. And at the end there is the 3 ramps going down that we started the episode by driving down in the Explorer. I probably will raise the factory floor for the manufacturers by 1 level, and all of the things in here, they are going to go away. I want to actually, I might not raise, I might just lower this one. There was something, there was a belt or something that caused issues here, but I think I removed that belt. Now it is this coal belt, but that coal belt can be lowered down there, and then I can take it down. No, I cannot. I cannot lower that floor, so I will probably have to raise the factory floor above us by 4 meters. I'm going to change the computer recipe from the crystal computers to the Caledorn computers, which means we're going to need a lot of quick wire. But that is something that I plan to do on camera. All of this that I've done off camera now is because it is things that I have already shown, and I've just redone things that I've already built earlier. Everything here is using the correct belt speeds now, so that is also a benefit. I've cleaned up things so that there are no tall conveyor stacks. The tallest ones are the ones with the hypertubes, and those are at level 6 and 7, I believe. Other than that, most of the things are 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, 6 and 7, so everything is on level 5 and lower in the factory. These 2 hypertubes are very simple. That one takes us to the mall, and the start is a bit messy, but it's a very straightforward and simple way to get from A to B. Also gives us a nice view of the new factory floor, and it drops us off at an easy to use point for either going to the trains or down into the mall to collect more products. The other hypertube will be taking us to the I could actually send that tube all the way to the refinery now that I think about it, because, well, you'll see when we get down there. The Caterium node up there, I'm going to have to put down a new miner on and overclock so that it can produce the maximum amount of Caterium for us for the quick wire. This is a bit confusing when you're going right underneath another hypertube. But I've just left the structures up there. But I probably will have a smelting floor and maybe also a production floor up there instead of having it down here. Also had to move the refinery hypertube a bit. And here's a neat little tip. You can build these, be careful how you build them though, but if you build these, you get some impressive speeds in the hypertubes, as long as you do not have too high of an inclination. So I think I'm going faster than a train right now. I'm not sure, but you can see the air coming against me there. I haven't really made up my mind how to do this. And it doesn't work down here because the incline is too tall. So But otherwise, nothing has changed out here, so it starts out good, as you can see, but then it slows down a little bit, and then here it's basically back to the normal hypertube speed. So that was why I moved it. I tried to get it to be compatible with the jump pad there. But you can create a loop where you will just bounce back and forth between the endpoints of the hypertubes, so be a bit careful with that jump pad trick. That's probably why I haven't, or that's a good reason not to build the hypertube onto the refinery, actually, because of the speed, because there is no room for a jump pad over at the hub, or I would have to make a platform for the hypertube, because I would like to have a sort of a hypertube network. Maybe sending me out to the steel smelting outpost if I need to do work there, or to the iron smelting outpost if I need to do work there. And it would be nice to have the hypertubes in a central location. Probably not here, but yes, that's basically what I have to show you in this episode. This has taken many hours. I've had quite a bit of fun while doing it. I do love this game to bits. But I'm very glad I didn't record it. However, I'm sure that there might be questions or comments, so as usual, please feel free to leave any questions and or comments in the comments section of the video, or you can come join us in the Discord server. You'll find the link to that in the description. In the next episode, I am not entirely sure what we're going to do there, but I think it will involve manufacturers. I need to set up the tier 3/tier 4 products. There's also the matter of outposts, but we'll get to that as well. But thank you all so much for joining me, and I will be seeing you all in the next episode.